and who we are. But I think just for the purposes of this, you just allow me to quickly do this. I'm a bit outside our town as I was in another session. I had to make time for this, so maybe I'll go with you halfway, and I would also allow Ross Moyo to then finalize and finish off the interview. But thank you so much for having us. My name is Tonio. I'm the editor in chief and founder of TechMake TV and Technomake. We are Zimbabwe's biggest online technology platform, and we are so much excited and interested to hear the developments as far as the tech discourse is concerned, locally, regionally, and also including internationally. So we are excited to hear about you, and we are so much happy to have you. Sorry, just for an issue of housekeeping, because we want to. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, Mr.
Yes,
Kayode,
I can hear you.
You can't hear me.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. No, I can hear you. Good afternoon, Mr. Tonio. How
Okay,
are you,
great.
sir?
I'm doing perfectly well. I'm just worried about our video specifications because it's going to be recording this, and we want to also use this for our platforms. Uh, is our camera settings okay? Because some are vertical, some are horizontal. Are we going to be able to use this video
Yeah, I think your camera should be
horizontal?
I have it on portrait. Yeah. But I have my yeah. It's better this way now.
Yeah.
It's good enough if we're going to be recording for 4x3, or we just stick to it. Okay, so we'll agree to stick. We'll agree to stick to this format. I was just worried if it was going to be good enough for future recording, specifically for online consumers. So I was just getting worried about the portrait versus the landscape. I thought landscape was going to be the best for future recordings since you want to use this video in future. But anyway, it's fine. Mr. Kayode, I think let me go back to the business of the day, which is the interview. Thank you so much for having
Yes,
us,
sir.
and we are excited to have you. And I know, and I've learned that you are working on a very interesting technology. Should I call it YouTube? Or a funny soundtrack. I'm not so sure who's got that. I think in the meantime, Mr. Moyo and Mr. Kayode, you can switch off your microphones. You can switch off your microphones. Only switch them off when you're about to say something, so that we are clear on what sounds we are using. Are we good? All right, so I will switch on my microphone once I'm done, just posing some few questions so that at least we just have one microphone open at this moment in time. Right, so allow me to just shoot straight into my questions. If you can help us understand in your own words exactly what kind of a product are you going to be offering to the market, Mr. Kayode, sir?
Yeah. So good afternoon, Mr. Tonio and Mr. Ross. It's a pleasure meeting you guys. Funny enough, I just left Zimbabwe maybe like two weeks back. I was there for a music festival and then a kind of like a global congress meeting with some creative industry stakeholders globally. Yeah, so you asked the question. Well, Crowd is a content, video content monetization platform. And it's the idea for the product is that we wanted a situation where video content creators, especially the African video content creators, are able to have a platform where they can monetize their video content in multiple ways on one particular platform. Because after having studied the video market for a while, we all agree that African video creators have populated and they continue to give one of the most unique and engaging content to the global audience, basically. But one of the things we found out was that the return on investment for video creators, African video creators, have been very poor. And why has that been? It's been that way because when you look at the Western video platforms, the ones from the Western countries, that most of them rely on to be able to project their videos with an intention that hopefully they will be able to monetize and put money in their pockets. What we found out with those platforms is that those platforms were not created with an algorithm that was primarily soothing or primarily targeted for the African video creating audience. What we found out was that most of these algorithms were created to be able to favor first people in those countries or people in the Western countries. And Africa became more like a secondary plan for them. Secondary plan in being in the fact that they wanted to increase the numbers of users of their platform and not necessarily increase the commercial or the economic capacities of our African creators. But for us, the African creators, with the excitement that, oh, I have a place that is not under the control of government. I have a place that is not under some form of bureaucracy where I can put my video and eventually start to get people to enjoy my video and give me the necessary for being a creator. A lot of our moved into those particular platforms, and what they have found quite after a while is that there has been no return on their investment. So what you have is a situation where I can categorically tell you that 90% of content creators have not gotten one check from these video platforms. So we looked at it and we say, why should we be putting out the best music videos? Why should we be putting out the best TV productions? Why should we be putting out the best live events and live engagements on these Western platforms? And our people are not getting any form of commercial or economic success from that. So what we now decided to do was to say, okay, can we create a platform that the consumption pattern and the monetization pattern is soothing for an African audience, and we are not being put at the same level to be able to deal with content creators? Because we all understand what the internet penetration in Africa is. We all understand the importance of our culture. We all understand it's able to project a particular platform where instead of content creators going outside the platform to go and monetize on a B2B situation, it is more of them concentrating on their which is engaging their content on this particular platform and monetizing with the app itself, and not going out on a B2B pursuit to go and monetize. So if I have 500,000 people watching me on this particular platform, then I should be trying to monetize 500,000 people, not going out of the app to sell or market 500,000 people to a brand or a company and say, pay me some money and let me put your name or let me put your brand in my video to show to my 500 people. Your first point of call is to find a way to be able to give 500,000 people a unique content experience or a unique assets experience, then get 500,000 people, monetize them. Because that becomes your first initial, that becomes your bread and butter. So that when the B2B businesses come asking for an advertising solution from you, they become a secondary customer. And then you can probably charge them what you are worth for those particular video productions or those video creations that you have made. So that's what Crowd brings to the table. And what I like in Crowd to basically is like you having a cinema for short videos. You have a cinema in your hand. You carry a mobile cinema in your hands, because Crowd also has the capacity to be
Sincere apologies, team. I think I've just lost my audio, but please continue. Let me try and fix my gadgets. I hope I'm not disturbing. You can continue. I'm someone not hearing anything, but I suspect it's this side. Let me try and fix, but you can go ahead so that I don't disturb anything. I'll try and log off and on again because I can't hear you.
Ross and Tanel. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and disconnect and reconnect because so that then we can try and overcome the technical glitch. So I am literally disconnecting the chat and rejoining in about a minute or even less. Hi all, let me know if you can hear me, please.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Oh, perfect. Thanks a lot, Ross. Let me double check. I think Kayode is now connecting, so it should shortly be with us.
Okay.
Larus.
Hi, hello. Can you all hear me? Kayode,
Hello,
Ross.
yeah.
Tom?
Sorry,
Perfect.
I wasn't sure what happened. I had to reboot all my device and my internet again.
Oh, I can hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
I can hear you too.
Okay.
Now I can hear you, but I was worried it's my
Can you hear
device.
me, Tony?
I can hear you.
Now I can hear you as well.
Okay. So I don't know what happened. So I had to reboot all my devices, the internet and all that.
No, that's fine. It's just that I'm also a bit of in a different town altogether. But in case you lose me, I'll just quickly hand off the second part of the interview to Ross. But I think we can continue from where you left, and then at least I'm happy right now. I can hear you, and I'm sure Kayode, you can still assist us with the recording, so that at least maybe one of us. For me, I'm a bit outside town, but right here it looks like now I'm back and I've got good reception. So I'm sure it's back again. Over to you, Mr. Kayode, so that you can continue.
Yeah, so where I stopped, so what I was saying was that with the technology we have, it's focused on helping and facilitating multiple monetization opportunities for African content creators. One thing I must correct also is that it doesn't have similarities with YouTube, because YouTube is more of like video exactly, yeah, somehow, if I can say it that way, or a video set, more like as if you have a cinema, a mobile cinema in your hand, and it operates as a streaming platform. It has a layer of e-commerce also, where content creators or video content creators can decide to put up their exclusive products that is an extension of their brand, which we call in the creative industry, they put up their able to sell it to their exclusive audience. So so that's what Crowd is about. Crowd is more of like helping develop content, information, education, and entertainment to be able to monetize their content by distributing it to an exclusive group of people that are willing to pay either on a pay-per-view service, or whether they want to do a subscription service for live videos and for short-form content that are created on demand. So that's how we help African content creators basically to be able to monetize. So it puts power in their hands, because they're able to decide how many people can come to engage with these videos and pay them to be able to engage, because we have a dedicated marketing engine that is attached to the platform. And the platform, this marketing engine holds 50 million at first, because we are starting it from Nigeria here. So it has 50 million Nigerians that it can through text messaging, Instagram messaging, and also has 33 million Nigerians that can be reached also through their emails also. Africa, or Nigeria into the wider Africa, we will be able to have more marketing opportunities that allows us to be able to reach more Zimbabweans, that allows us to be able to reach more Ugandans. And for the kinds of people that we will be working for, we are expecting that to a large extent, it's either these people are willing to reach out to get people to come and engage with their content through our database, or they already have people that are already on other platforms but are not paying them or are not putting money in their pockets in those other platforms, because those platforms are free to engage platforms that will move a unique exclusive audience from that platform to Crowd, and then Crowd can help them get access to their content and they can be able to generate revenue from their content. Because at the end of the day, what use is 1 million people watching your content if they are watching it for free and they can't put money in your pocket? The idea is that if you have only 50,000 people that are engaging your content, and those people, 50,000 people, are able to put 50 cents in your pocket, or they're able to put $1 in your pocket, you can do the math in how much that revenue can be for you to be able to take home as creatives. Our own idea basically is to see how people that are in the have to have a proper business around their video content. For example, you have a budget to create your video, you have a marketing, and then you can come to a platform that can allow you to get access to that content, knowing that this is the projected price that you are actually able to get for that content, and you're able to multiply it by the infinite number of the capacity of the internet for that particular content. Eventually, do your cost and look at your revenue, take out your cost out of your revenue, and you're able to know that this is the margin I enjoyed for creating this particular. It can be a music video, it can be a short comedy skit, it can even be a TV series where you break a 1 hour into 5 minutes and you have it in a packet of 5 and you decide to sell it to your viewers to be able to engage. So it's more like you having a content retailing platform that allows you to be able to take your product, engage your unique customer base, and they are able to put money in your pocket for giving them that unique content experience because it's an exclusive experience. So that's what Crowd brings to the market that makes it more unique than already in the market. I hope you were able to. I hope you heard me.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I hope you heard me.
Yes. I could hear you. This time around, it was much better. It was much better. I just want to know so far how has been your penetration in the other markets that you have launched the product in. Which exact markets are you in, and how has been the penetration so far of your product?
Yeah, we launched in Nigeria, and we launched in Nigeria because, for obvious reasons, we decided to leverage the population of Nigeria as fast as possible. And then right now we are talking to a platform in Zimbabwe, a digital marketing or a digital company in Zimbabwe called Airground. We are about to sign an MOU with Airground in Zimbabwe to be able to launch and bring new onboard users from Zimbabwe. Then we are about to use that same MOU with Airground in Zimbabwe to be able to start to work with top-level Zimbabwean music artists, top-level Zimbabwean TV producers, and top-level Zimbabwean podcasters to be able to on the platform, and then they leverage the platform to be able to monetize their content. Because the complaints that we get or where we is that a lot of people that have spent a lot of money and content have not gotten one check from the other Western so this is a platform where they can use to monetize, especially for an exclusive. Most of them are very important. I'm sure that by tomorrow we are getting the memorandum of understanding today, tomorrow, and I'm sure that before the end of next week we should have that thing signed. And when we sign it, it's going to bring a few things on board. We are going to get as news media. We're going to get the Airground company owns a podcast production outfit. it's a Kombi station. So we are going to have the Kombi station exclusively on Crowd, and we are going to have a Kombi station Nigeria version also. And then the MOU is supposed to be able to get Nigerian music artists to be able to work with Zimbabwean music artists to work together and have content experiences to be able to leverage the two markets on. So it becomes a Nigerian West African market to be able to give value to both markets, basically, and then put money in the pockets of the content from both markets.
Okay, I'm excited. I've known CKrowd, and I know and I understand that the traction that they've already made on ground here. One of the major issues, I may not be very quite familiar with the Nigerian market, but for sure I'm very familiar about the challenge in the Zimbabwean market is the issue of access to data. This is a data-based platform. Are you going to be thinking around or doing anything to work around with the local mobile networks so that you provide them with a data bundle that allows your users and your artists or your content creators to have affordable data tariffs? Because the issue of access and cost in Zimbabwe has been a major hindrance as far as the digital platforms is concerned. Are you going to be having that, or have you managed to speak to any local mobile network operators here in Zimbabwe so that they can treat your service differently or apply certain data bundles?
Yeah, the data matter is an African-wide situation. We're already doing that in Nigeria here, where we are working with local data companies here to be able to give a far modest price in the data cost for access to content on the platform. And also, we need EcoCash for two reasons: for the purpose of internet and data, and for the purpose of payment, basically for content. So one of the things that we found when we came to Zimbabwe was that we talked with Mutukuzis, we spoke with Sekalas, who is a big Zimbabwean dancehall artist. Discussions. One of the first things that they told me was that, look, if you want to reach the masses in Zimbabwe, people in Zimbabwe, we have an opportunity to be able to make payments through EcoCash. Immediately starting to look at how to work with EcoCash and EcoNet to be able to do two things: data, to cheap data, and then access to payments. And then for it to be easy also, for us to be able to pay the content that will be going, through EcoCash also. So we've initiated those discussions. I'm sure before the end of the talking to one of the EcoNet staff regarding this particular whole arrangement also.
Okay. All right, thank you. I will please allow me to cross you over to Ross Moyo now. He also has got some couple of questions that he's got for you, and also allow me at this juncture and moment to officially sign off. I'll join through and I'll follow through the interview after this. But I do thank you for answering some of my top pertinent questions that I had with you. Ross has also got some questions that he needs to be asking you, and I will join you guys later. And thank you for having me and the time. In the meantime, I'm officially handing you over to Ross. Thank you.
Thank you, Tonya. Nice speaking with you.
All right, great. Over to you and Ross now. All the best.
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Ross.
Great interview by my editor-in-chief there, Tonio Rizzito. Afternoon, Mr. Kayode.
Yes, right. How are you, sir? Good afternoon.
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much for illuminating us on everything that you're doing. You are definitely um, becoming our own version of Facebook in Africa, so to say. Even though your bias seems to be towards music and other areas.
No,
Um,
no, no, not towards music alone. Our content philosophy carries three types of content. Content in
yes.
information about Africa,
Mhm.
content in education about Africa, and then entertainment and lifestyle. So those three contents we are very huge on those. For example, an company that has signed on to
Oh.
teacher training programs. Yeah, teacher training programs and also language training programs to quite a huge audience on the platform. So it's an edu tech. So it's kind of a mix of you having a tech which contains edu technology.
Yes, 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 yes. Well, perhaps you would want to let us know about your usage of digital technology to promote and export African-related content. You just mentioned about content. Perhaps if you can expand for us, CKrowd's usage of digital technology to promote and export African-related content. Yes.
Well, yes, crowd just a twist to WD.
Mm-hmm.
Very unique. The idea basically is that there is demand for African video content, and then there is abundant supply of African video content. But where the restriction is for these two is for the demand and the supply to be able to meet. And a lot of times you find out that the cost implication for Africans going over to the other countries to go and enjoy content or enjoy some form of engagement or go display and showcase their content is quite expensive for Africans. And then when you're looking at it also, getting the internationals to come to Africa to come and enjoy content around education exchanges and all that, it's also quite expensive. So in the aspect of scale, it might not exactly work. So what we found out in the whole situation was to look at it and say, why don't we use technology to be able to take this content from the angle of supply and also get the diaspora demand to be able to put money in the hands of Africans that are informing them about Africa, that are educating them about Africa, and that are getting them to be able to understand that of Africans, so that they can become, the connection can become stronger. The idea basically is that we want a situation where we leave a Western platform to interpret the information that goes from one end to the other end, so that the perception of certain information does not get distorted anymore. We wanted something very direct, a platform where Africans all over the globe can come and well-represented content about the African continent, and then help them to see a possibility of wanting to come down to Africa to do more connections, and who knows, maybe even relocate back to Africa, because they are getting the news and they are getting the information authentically from who own the culture by themselves. So the narrative of Africa being controlled by Africa, well-organized platform is for crowd.
Yes, viewers would want to know how you are connecting and promoting African culture and education across the globe. You know, for African and Afro diaspora content creators to generate revenue and protect their content's IP. Perhaps if we can bring that, talking about protecting their content IP and generation of revenue. How are you doing that on your end?
Well, one of the things we've been doing is that we've been talking collecting companies and the rights collecting companies in the African countries, even this in capacity, for example. And the idea is that we want to make sure that the proper licensing outfits and the collecting outfits that allow anyone that owns, whether it is in the aspect of image or in the aspect of the music or in the aspect of the content that is educational that is being distributed from that particular content. We want everybody in that whole value chain to be able to get what is due to them. And we believe that the only way that can be done is if we are properly registered with licensing and collecting companies in order to make sure that those that will be putting content on the platform, their content are protected and they are able to, revenue and able to earn from the multiple opportunities for creators, basically.
Okay. Wow. Seems like you are really meaning business and you are not leaving any stone unturned. You mentioned that there is no relationship. I heard when my editor in chief was asking you that there is no similarity between you and YouTube. Yet there seems to be some features that are YouTube-like. What's your take on that?
Well, for us, we believe there's no big deal in being termed as, oh, we are similar to YouTube because, for us, we are coming in just about a year and a half. And if we have been likened to a company that has been there for more than 10, 15 years, and that's a multi-billion company, then it means that we most likely are doing something right. But for us, basically, we operate in the same way. It's just like you saying that, for example, a Peugeot car that is made by a French engineer that was supposed to just ferry 5 people from one location to the other. It's being compared to, for example, a heavy-duty truck. Yes, they are both moving. They both have tires, and they both move from one place to the other. But the two of them functionally are totally different. For example, YouTube, from what we know YouTube to be, YouTube operates a streaming platform, but YouTube is more of a video search engine, just like they have the Google that is a search engine for whatever information. But our platform is a bit different. Our platform is more of like a content monitor that deals, it's like a content marketplace that operates as a streaming platform and that has features that makes it look like more of like a digital cinema in your hands. So it means that producers, for example, can want to release their film exclusively, and what they do is that they bring it to Crowd. First thing is that they come and host the content on Crowd because it operates as a streaming platform. Then they now database, 55 million database that we have to be able to sell their video content to maybe 3 million people with a view that they are bringing 3 million people to come on the platform, to come and pay them on a per view basis to be able to watch their content. So instead of most of the time, you find out that a short video producer will never be able to get a cinema placement for their content because competing with the long feature films. But with Crowd, you can bring your short video content on Crowd, for example, and put a marketing campaign behind it that allows it to reach 3 million, 10 million people. And these people come on the platform, they pay you maybe $1, they pay you $5 to be able to watch your content, and you're able to generate revenue for that your content by releasing it exclusively on Crowd. So that's how Crowd operates. We kind of like help you to get your content, the access to your content, and receive revenue for you for the access that you'll be enjoying to that content. As one of our revenue models.
Wow, that's quite phenomenal. I suppose you're going to give Google a run for their money. So in other words, you are saying yes, you are actually competing with Google, even though you have your own market niche that you are looking into beyond what Google offers. So in light of that, tell us about the short form and on-demand videos, the live videos where African creators take 70% of revenue through distributing exclusive videos and experiences on CKrowd, the ones that you were hinting about. Perhaps if you can delve deeper on that.
Okay, what Crowd does is that, for example, we believe in Crowd that any particular investment that goes into video should not be for free. That's our own point of view. For example, let me use the example of a music video. Music videos are created and they are quite expensive. When I was in Zimbabwe, I made a bit of findings, and I found out that music videos can cost from $1,500 to as huge as maybe $10,000. So if you create a music video for $5,000, for example, why are you taking that video to a platform that's a free-to-air platform to be able to sell and put it there for free at the mercy of people, at the mercy of that technology? Your music video, for example, if you're creating it and it is that expensive, which is a short video form, it's music average for maybe like, so when you create a short form content and somehow you are able to tell 300,000 people that have been persistently following and watching your videos, you tell them that I am looking for an exclusive of view and watch my 2 to 3 months earlier than any other body can watch it on the internet. And the place that you can do that right now that we know is on Crowd. Because when you bring it on Crowd and you announce that, look, I am looking for an exclusive audience that will watch my video and watch it 3 months earlier than anybody can watch it on the internet, you most likely will be able to bring a 30,000, 50,000 people from that 300,000 people crowd to Crowd on the platform. That's why we named it Crowd. Your own crowd that are ready to put money in your pocket for you giving them exclusive and unique content engagement, basically. So that's what that's the aspect, and that's for music videos. You can also do that for your TV series. For example, someone has brought a TV series. We have a lot of TV series that we have here, which originally were created for maybe like 1 hour, 30 minutes view. And one of the things that we help them to do is that we take that 1 hour, 30 minutes view, we ask them, we give them support to be able to edit it into 5-minute videos, meaning that it has a part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, and part 5. And we bring it on Crowd, and then we help them retail each part of that video for something small, so that by the time you multiply it out by 5 parts, you can imagine the kind of revenue that you can make from that, instead of taking it to the other Western platforms and putting it there, and you are at the mercy of viewers, you are at the mercy of the platform, because hardly will the platform be able to tell you precisely how much engagement that they are getting from the content and how much that particular one engagement costs. But with Crowd, you know how much one engagement of your content costs. If you are selling one part for $1, it means that if you have 5 parts of that particular content is $5. And you can decide to give them a discount and say, watch the 5 parts, and then you can watch it for $3.50 instead of you paying $1 for each part. So that's the uniqueness and the flexibility that Crowd is able to offer, basically.
Okay, oh, that sounds really like a revolution that you have introduced to the African market. Getting back there again, how are these African video contents, specifically in information, education, and entertainment, distributed to local and global audience, earning foreign exchange? Because Forex really is the epitome. If anybody is able to access foreign currency that is stronger than the local currency, then it means you are already contributing to Forex earning wherever you are in Africa. How are these African video content in information, education, and entertainment distributed to local and global audience earning this kind of Forex?
Okay. Crowd from the beginning was created. It was created with the fact that African content in a platform, then being plugged in an international diaspora audience that see value local content because either give or it's helping them to connect to the culture back at home, leveraging technology. That at the international market level, the revenue model that they are more familiar with is the subscription revenue model. And one of the platform's revenue or sharing models is what we call a subscription royalty. So the idea basically is that we take local content, we plug it into the international audience so that the international audience that see a low value in that local audience are able to pay in foreign exchange, and that foreign exchange is able to enrich the local creators. But you know how it is in anything that even have a foreign approach to it. The charity must first begin at home because we must first populate the platform. Those local content from Africans and home and say, oh, we have 1 million people watching this already, so it is interesting. And just to even say what you have said, Crowd recently just received a grant for exportation of content as a service. And the idea basically was that the people that the entity that gave this grant saw the export value in what Crowd is creating or has created, and decided to say, no, we need to put money behind you to be able to encourage you to speed your growth in order for us to be able to plug you to the international audience so that the local creators at home can start to enjoy foreign exchange revenue for kind of to the market.
Okay, so I guess whilst on that, how then do you handle direct revenue through live streaming events on a pay-per-view basis?
Okay, when we were creating Crowd, one of the things that the development team and the business team were very strong on from the beginning was that we needed to make sure that there's ease of payment for the people that will be using Crowd. Whether you being a content or you being a content consumer, we must make sure that it's easy for you to generate revenue, and it is easy for you to be able to collect revenue, and it is easy for you to always to pay for your content also. So in the whole development process, one of the things we decided to extend our revenue model subscription, which is the most common revenue model for anything that operates as a streaming platform. So one of the things that we built into the platform from the beginning was a pay-per-view model, because most Africans might not want to offer, but they will not mind a situation where if there is a live event that is happening on the platform, maybe an educational program or a training program, or maybe even a music concert by one popular artist, or maybe a kind of unique news that is coming to them, they might just want to come on the platform, engage in that content, pay to view that content, and the moment they finish content, they come out of. So we decided to make sure that aside subscription, we had to have pay-per-view as a payment model on the platform. So the platform right now is able to collect revenue pay-per-view basis from, can be a music video, which can be a TV series content, or it can be a full film, but it's cut and chopped 5-minute quick consumable videos. So we have the opportunity for you to pay per view. We have the opportunity for you to pay subscription, both for live content and for on-demand content also from Crowd. And that's aside the subscription, what they call it, the subscription royalty payment. And then you have the opportunity to be able to develop a unique product that is an extension of your brand, like a t-shirt like this. And you can put it exclusively on Crowd and generate revenue. That is the e-commerce layer that that Crowd has also attached restrictions.
Yes, perhaps if you can school us as well about the good return on investment for videos by the African content creators.
Okay, the idea for us was that we needed to let the creatives, the African creatives, video creators, to be able to see that we have developed a product that is specifically for them financial. So one of the things that we did was that we did not deploy a stream or a paper stream. What we decided to do was a revenue sharing model. And this revenue sharing model was designed in a way where the video content creator goes home with % of the total amount of revenue that is generated from his video content that is played. So, for example, you charge $1 for people to view your video. You bring 50,000 people to come and view the video. That's $50,000. The content creator goes home with, if it is done on when it is done on Crowd, except maybe some special projects that is being filmed or that is being curated specifically and only by Crowd, or maybe like a joint venture with which the volume of investment and the volume of revenue share will need to be in order to have good return on investment on their project, basically.
Okay, that's really fantastic. Let's move on to multiple monetization for African content creators. Your take on that?
Yeah, multiple. This is what we found out when we were doing our because Crowd was created from a project called the AMFES project. The first caters to creative industry professionals all around Africa. It helps them to develop their expertise in business, allows them a showcase platform, and gives them opportunity to be able to network with local and international creators. So we found it was when we were running that project, we ran it for like 5 years, and it's still running, a lot of things that made us to see that people in the content space, especially in the creative space, were not having it easy at all. Because one of the things we found was that with the Western platforms, except maybe a platform like YouTube. The other platforms, what you do is that you generate content or you generate eyeballs on your content inside the app. Then you now need to start to go around and start to market yourself to businesses, to commission you, to mention them to the eyeballs that you have inside that app. So it means that you have an app, you create the necessary audience in the app, then you now start to do another extra layer of work by running around to get advertising from other businesses. And we said that is not so. That is not supposed to be so. If you have consumers that are paying attention to your content, those are supposed to be your primary revenue source. So what we decided to do was to create a platform where your consumers are your primary assets and they are able to give you multiple opportunities to have revenue without even living inside the application to go outside. So the idea is that if you are active inside the application and you are generating revenue from inside the application, then all businesses should be approaching you to come and leverage you to reach your audience, not the other way around. That means because you already have a good monetization relationship between you and your audience, then you can charge the businesses a little bit more because the businesses are fewer than those people that you are servicing inside the application. If, for example, you have 100,000 people inside the application that are consuming your content, I don't think 1,000 businesses that should be able to do that particular arrangement. So even if you were earning 50 cents from your people inside the application and there are 100,000, that's 50,000. How many businesses will be able to give you $50,000 just to be able to advertise for them to your people? So we decided to make it our monetization process to be focused on being inside the application and not outside the application, so that content creators can plan, they can have a timetable, and when they have met their quota or their timetable for the year, they can decide to go and rest and refresh to be able to create more unique experiences for these same people that they are servicing inside the app. Instead of that way around, what you find out is you are always fighting for relevance every day, and after content every time, and eventually as a creator you are going to burn out and you lose relevance. But with this particular crowd arrangement, you are able to target and have a content plan for a year. For example, you can say in a year I want to be able to give one exclusive content a month to my unique audience on this platform. I will do it 5 times in a year. This is what my projected revenue is going to be like. And then I can go and rest for the next 4 months. Then when I rest, I can be refreshed to come up with new ideas and create new refreshing content for my audience.
Okay. Can you school us on the audience on pay-per-view on live videos? Definitely, this is different from the one that you mentioned initially, like the pay-per-view for live streaming events. I want us to talk specifically right now on pay-per-view on live videos.
Okay, live videos, basically, we are Africans. We have a culture of events. We are either having weddings, or we are having parties, or we are having concerts, things that are live. We are celebratory people as Africans. We found out that if you are able to have live audiences and live events, possibility to be able to monetize it also. For example, a wedding. I might be having a wedding in Harare, for example, but I have a group of friends from all around the world that would have wanted to be in that wedding but could not be in that wedding. So there's a possibility for me to say, oh, you know what? As a contribution to my wedding, because you cannot be here, why don't I stream this to you guys? Then you guys are able to pay me $20 just to be able to tune in to watch how everything is being done. And it serves as an extra appreciation to my wedding, basically. Able to do that on Crowd. For example, if you have a Mutukutsi playing in Harare, for example, he might decide to have a hybrid event instead of a physical event because he has a fan base all around the world. He delivers a live event where he has few people there that are able to pay to come into that particular place, but also his live audience from all around the world are able to pay a little amount of money, a $10, a $5, to be able to enter and engage and see what is happening at that live performance and be able to put money in the happens also for teaching series where you have a kind of unique topic that you want to teach about, but that unique topic is able to attract people from all over the world, especially diasporans all over the world. And one way or the other, you still want to deliver that particular teaching series. There's a local audience for it. There's an international audience for it. So Crowd is able to allow you monetize from the online engagement that comes to this particular live teaching series, basically. It's like you having a gate on the internet that we are able to help you get your content, the access to your content. You make payments, then access opens to you. You are able to engage on that live delivery and enjoy it.
How different is that from also making money pay-per-view from on-demand short videos?
Well, on-demand short videos is anything that is on-demand. It means that it has been pre-created. It has been edited and it has loaded on a platform for engagement. For example, what a Netflix offers is an on-demand video streaming service. Every content on Netflix and be pre-edited and be made available on the platform for consumption. So Crowd is able to do that, but instead of a long form, 2 hours, 1 hour, 30 minutes, Crowd does not distribute its content in such volume of capacity. What it does is that it does it on a short video basis. So for example, I might have a film, just like I explained a little earlier, it might be 2 hours. But on demand and on the go, we can support you in the editing of that content into, and eventually what you have is that you have a 12-part series or a 12-part film instead of you having to consume it once. And you can do it in a way where 6 parts of that film is first consumed as the first season, and then the second part is consumed as season 2. So it's just a unique and a fresh format away from maybe what everybody's offering there. But with that also, you can watch it on a pay-per-view series, meaning that you can put your video online, and when you put your video online, if I want to come in and I see your video and I see it's interesting, I pay you $1, I pay you $5. If that is what you are asking me to pay, I engage your content. So it's more of like being able to deliver passive revenue to video creators, apart from being able to deliver live revenue to you as creators. So that means you sleep every day, making money every day, because people are coming to pay you for a thing that you have created once in a lifetime. You put exclusive, you get to see your bank account grow every day from the engagement of your content.
Wow, that is out of this world. How about subscription royalties?
Yeah, subscription royalties operates in a mode where by the time we start our subscription services, which we believe that will be the outside African, what we will experience with that is that a percentage of your subscription, a percentage of the total subscription on the platform at a particular period will, according to the engagement that they are able to generate for their content. So let's say, for example, revenue from subscription this month of November is 1,000. Crowd can decide and say 30% of the total amount of money generated on subscription this month will be shared for all content creators that are on the platform. And we now look at volume of engagement that your content is getting, and then we share to you according to the engagement of that your content. So it's more of like an extra, how do I call it now? An extra something that comes to you just for you to have your content on our platform, basically. So that's why we call it a royalty. It's more of like something that you continue to enjoy because you are part of the process of bringing engagement to the crowd platform.
How do you intend to develop and sell your exclusive merchandise on CKrowd?
It's called Crowd, sir, not CKrowd, sir. Crowd.
Okay.
We want to just correct that. Yes. Okay,
Yeah.
so how do we do that? This is what we do. One of the things we offer on the crowd platform is an opportunity for creatives to be able to own a product. Because one of the things we find is that most of the time creatives are busy wanting to create intangible products. And with their intangible products, there is a lot of matters around their intangible products. But one of the things that we know can always win is that when you have created value out of your brand, then that brand can be leveraged on to be able to sell like your phones, it can be your t-shirts, it can be a water bottle. And because you already have curated an exclusive audience on the platform, it is easy for you to develop a product and say, you know what, this is my product. I have you guys here. You guys are 50,000 people, my exclusive audience. But you know what? I have developed this unique water bottle that when you pour cold water into it, it becomes blue. When you pour hot water into it, for example, it becomes red. And it is branded the Crowd bottle. And this particular amount, maybe $10 or $20, and it is only 1,500 of it that is available right now. And any one of you guys that buy my bottle, for example, will maybe enjoy a back-end access to my concert that I will be having in Harare in the next 1 month. So it's more of like getting people to be able to own something that is a part of you and having it as a souvenir, and that is able to generate revenue for you as a creator also. So it's more of like, and that thing puts money in your pocket and it is being appreciated by your exclusive audience. I think it gives the artist a more refreshed and unique perspective to being someone of influence within a particular group of consumers, basically.
How about your real-time uptake, revenue from live and on-demand videos? Creative take, I hear you're talking about 70% on all direct revenues on Crowd.
Yeah, so it's for us, it's all 70-30. Basically, if you are if your content is being distributed exclusively on Crowd, we want a situation where you can become, as a content creator from the ground up, you are your own chief marketing officer. You are your own chief executive officer, meaning that what we do as Crowd is just to offer you the platform where we can help you get access to your content or access to your product, whether it is live, whether it is on demand, and we just charge a small commission for doing that because we have to pay for infrastructure, we have to pay for staffing, we have to pay for different things. So ours is more of like we are like an enabler for you, and for you, us enabling you or facilitating the process of revenue exchange between your consumers and your brand. We charge 30%. We want the content creator to always be able to hit their chest and be happy and say, regardless of what my arrangement with these people are, I am the one taking home the lion's share of my revenue. And it is not the other way around, like how it is with the other international Western platforms, where they charge you, they give you a fraction to be able to have the opportunity to hold your content which you have expended such an investment in. As for us, basically, you being able to have a very good return on your investment, and for you to be able to have that as possible is very important to us as a company. And that's why we kind of designed the scheme in that way, where it becomes something that the creative industry people, the investors in content will be happy to be able to know that they are the ones going home with the lion's share of the transaction that they have with us.
Okay, talking about the lion's share, I think that's the whole idea, to make a killing, to make a buck. Otherwise,
Exactly.
we wouldn't be doing this.
There will not be any reason.
Yeah. So, whilst doing that, any mobile cinema where you control your earnings as you announce your exclusive short form and live videos?
Yeah. Oh, well, with the mobile cinema, okay, for example, I'm expecting a film producer. Most of his content has been on cable. So he distributes his content, he puts it on African Magic, and what he generates from there is more around advertising revenue.
Mm-hmm.
And we spoke to him, you know, and somehow he's an advisor to the company. He's on the board of advisory.
Mm-hmm.
We said, this is your new film that you're about to film. When you are to bring it to Crowd, we have 50 text messages, we have 50 million phone numbers, we have 33 million emails that we can put behind this year, and we can get it to as many people. For example, if we decide to charge 50 cents for it, to use our database for 3% to your revenue. Immediately you generate the revenue back that you have used to shoot this film, and you have a fantastic margin on that, basically. Mm-hmm. So he said, look, let's talk. I'll bring my content. So that's the idea of the digital cinema. Because what does a cinema do? You put your content inside the cinema, the cinema holds it for an exclusive period, or maybe one. They do a bit of marketing. People come there, they pay, and when they pay, they watch the film. Then when you go and look at the cinema, you look at the between the cinema and the content creator. I think it's probably around 60-40. The cinema goes with 60, the creator goes with 40. I can't remember, but I think it's something around that. But with Crowd, it's very different. Mm-hmm. And the very worst case scenario, our arrangement with you is 70-30. If eventually we are investing in marketing for you, or you are investing in your own marketing to reach our database, and it means that somehow we can restore, because we now call it a joint venture. There's a marketing from Crowd, and there's you creating the content, and then we can share revenue, but never from the Crowd perspective will Crowd be able to get the lion's share of your content, because we believe that if you created your content, you deserve the right every time to have the lion's share of your content. From a Crowd philosophy and from a crowd perspective. There's a
Okay.
lot of joy also in knowing that people will only be on their phones at a of comfort, and then they can click on the link to your content. They pay a 50 cents to want to watch your content, and they can enjoy it from the comfort of anywhere. And also there's joy for the producer knowing his content on the crowd just by hitting on a link. So I think that is where the power of the database or the dedicated marketing engine that Crowd has, that is where the power of it is totally put in support of the creatives that invest in producing these videos.
Wow, that's super amazing. The fact that you're able to reach 50 million Nigerians and other sub-Saharan Africans cheaply and directly on their phones, you know, through WhatsApp and SMS marketing, and the 33 million that you just mentioned via emails using Crowd dedicated marketing engines. That is really phenomenal. I don't know, but wow, I think
and that's where it starts. We hope that eventually we'll be able to reach 500 million Africans all over the world.
Yeah, because the Nigerian market alone, you're looking at millions and millions and millions. It's the most populous nation, very huge. And the fact that you're able to go beyond Nigeria and be able to take the whole African market, that is just going to be phenomenal. That just reminds me, you know, I remember when we were, some years back, we used to watch Big Brother Africa. There used to be the original Big Brother and the one that was hosted in Nigeria. Are you also able to tap into such technologies for Crowd? Have you managed to also be able to tap into that market? Because that really has a huge following.
Yeah, Crowd eventually is coming very soon. I think before the first quarter of next year, we are going to announce Crowd Studios. And Crowd Studios basically is being developed to be able to produce crowd original content. So it means that with the investments that we will be able to get, right now we have some investments from seed investments, and then we also have grant investments. But by the time we approach a proper round of funding, one of the first things that we'll be doing is to be able to fund 4 universities, the literature department of 4 universities, to be able to start to have our own content catalog. And then Crowd Studios will be investing in creating crowd. Those original contents can be in the best minds in the production industry. Because right now, by virtue of the AmFest program that I said that we had run for 5 years before we came into development as a pain point, to help solve the problem of content distribution, we have relationships with the biggest of production and film creatives across the continent. For example, the people that said the producers of The Voice, for example, are people that are partners, which by putting together a fantastic production, we ourselves can start to develop content as huge as the Big Brother that will be watched around the whole African continent. And we are coming up with our own series, our own TV series, our own films, most likely our own animations. And then in future, I think we are even looking into gaming, and especially now that we are looking at the metaverse situation also. So there's quite a lot of future ahead of us. And imagine if we are able to sit on 54 countries, we are able to sit on 3,000 tribes, meaning that we are talking about more than 3,000 cultures, all these cultures, they have their own mythical figures, they have their own stories, they have their own histories. These are all assets that Crowd, being positioned as an African solution, has. And we are really positioned to be able to take those opportunities in creating those intellectual properties, those unique exclusive content. And the good thing about it is that we now have the technology to be able to distribute it. So that means that we control the whole process end to end, from production to distribution, and we can reward creators and people that have participated in that whole process of creating that value. And also there's the IP, which we will be sitting on also, meaning that even if technology changes tomorrow, and we decide to enter into another new technology, we are sitting down on the intellectual property. They will be moving with us into the next phase of the technology, and they can always be assured that they will get the reward that is supposed to come to them for being part of that value delivering process.
Wow, that's just phenomenal. I'm tempted to say, Jeff Bezos, the Amazon founder, Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook and WhatsApp, Twitter. Watch out, Crowd is here to stay. Where do you see yourselves 5 years from now?
5 years from now,
yes,
we want to be at least a $2 billion valued company in 5 years. And why we believe that it is very achievable is because sitting down on a continent that is vast in story, a continent that is so vast in stories, a continent that is so vast in history, a continent that has so much in education and entertainment to all the world. So if we are the first, Facebook can do everything that it can do all over the world. But when it comes to Africa, I think it's a position than Facebook to be able to kind of monetize Africa for the people. So the idea basically is that all our stories being told properly by African creators, and all our stories being distributed by African technology and somehow being executed by Africans to give value back to Africa. And we believe that for a content of 1.5 billion people, the value that we are going to get from there will be so huge. And we have a diaspora that is as big as 200 to 300 million people also. So that's a very huge market. And we believe that in the next 5 years, we don't see Crowd being anything less valued than $2 billion, by God's grace.
Wow. That is a vision and a half. It is very encouraging to have an African brother, a man from the same continent with a vision to put Africa on the map. And already you have put us on the technological map concerning all this that we have been discussing. When you started discussing with my editor-in-chief, Tonio Rizzito, the founder of Technomag and Techmag TV, you were very potent, Clara, on what you are out there for. And already you are putting your money where your mouth is. You're putting your mouth where your money is. You are walking the talk. You're not just talking, but you are living it. You are out there to prove that it is doable, it is possible. And yes, if it can be done elsewhere, it can be done right here in our motherland. Let us summarize and wind down this whole discussion from where it started. You mentioned a lot about content creators, multiple monetization for videos, exclusive video content, the huge payout that you're expecting. You also spoke about the 70-30% ratio when you mentioned about video creators saying that they'll be able to get the huge chunk. You spoke about the 50 million people that you're already reaching. 50 million, my goodness, that is phenomenal. And You also emphasized on the WhatsApp, the text messages, and the emails. Can you summarize for us, for somebody who just joined in, what all this means for the African technological revolution and for crowds?
Well, now we have now Africa has its own video content monetization platform that puts the power of reach and the power of engagement in the hands of Africans, meaning that your stories and the communication that you deliver from your stories will no longer need to be in the hands of Western platforms, because the algorithms from the beginning was not developed to consider we as Africans. It was developed from the beginning to have a Western demographic on those platforms. Right now, and Africa is like a side meal for them, because it's more of like they want to grow their user base. That is why Africa is. But right now, you now have a platform called Crowd that is African and that stands in the technology capacity toe to toe with any of the big streaming and e-commerce technology in the world. And the good thing about it is that this platform will directly communicate your story in a very organized format between you and your consumers, basically. And that connection will always, as a content creator. And the good thing also is that with Crowd, creators in the video space will always go home with a chunk of the revenue that that platform is able to deliver to them. They go home with 70%. And for support also, we now have a data that can be leveraged to be able to reach as many as 50 million Nigerians and also 33 million via email. But the good thing is that that is even just the start. So if we are starting as a platform in the very few months that has that particular database and capacity, imagine what it will be in 2 years. Our hope is that we are going to reach 500 million Africans at the very least and grow a database to be able to reach all these people. So your video will eventually put money in your pocket. Your video will eventually earn. And the idea is that you are supposed to be, Crowd will help you to stand with contemporaries on the other side, and you also proud as a businessman, but that is creating videos at a good margin after your total cost of creating those videos. So I want to focus as a content and to be responsible and for you to have the joy of enjoying fantastic margins on your investment through videos. Thank you.
Yes, you have said it all. I just want to give you one more shot so that you could just, give us your last take, on this whole discussion that we have had before we go. Just your last take, and thank you so much. Let's just hear.
My last take. Yeah, so my last take will be encouraging Africans that it's time for us to really embrace our culture, because our culture right now we get the most value that it has ever got. You can see what is happening with our music. You can see what is happening with our our fashion. You can see what is happening with our films. The good thing is that we have people right now on every part of the world, and that is good business for Africans. So creators, those that have been working very hard up to this time and feel that they're not getting value through crowd. And I believe also, it's time for Africa, from a technology perspective, from a video perspective, from a commercial perspective, everything that we sit on, which is our culture, is the real vibe. And I think that it is now for us to start to enjoy our vibranium, and we are supposed to be the part of that unique value base that we are sitting on. And I'm hoping that one way or the other, you go and follow us on Crowd Africa. So it's CKrowd Africa. So we are Crowd Africa across all social media platforms. And my name is Kayode Adebayo. And you guys, I'm sure you'll be hearing, if it's time to put your money where your mouth is, we are assuring you very fantastic, multiple of 100 return on investment by putting your money where Africa culture, African education, and African information is.
Yes, before you go, I know I'd already said if you could give us your last take, but I want to understand that there is a thin line between technology and us moving on, because the more technology advances, the more business also advances. Because as we've been having this discussion, you've made it potent, Clara, that business is able to move forward through videos, through live streaming, through a whole lot of means. How are you able to bring this same technology to the remotest place in Africa? Since we're already in Africa, are you able to give some sort of support structure mechanism, perhaps be able to engage governments so that the whole of Africa gets digitized and the last person in the village is able to get full access to the same technology that we're talking about?
Well, just in a lighter mode, I think Elon Musk working, and I'm sure by the time it is, we will be able to kind of learn, because from what I know, I think Elon Musk is working around the satellite internet distribution system, which will get internet to the most remote places at the cheapest possible cost. And the 5G network is coming very fast also. So what this does basically is that it allows us to be able to move content around faster. And there are companies already increasing the phones that allows enablement of content to be consumed very easily. I think I was out there sometime and I can't remember what happened. Nearly every young person that I saw in that place had a smartphone in their hands. It dawned on me, I was like, wow. So just like it happened with Bill Gates, he pushed out the PC into everybody's hands first and then started to create the software. So the content is the software. The hardware, which is the phone, is being worked on now that it is nearly going to get to nearly everybody. Your mother in the village will have a smartphone. Your cousins in the most remotest place will have a smartphone. Somehow, the richest man in the world will put internet up there to push it around. So we are positioned in the aspect of being able to create the soft information aspect of it, which is video content. And I'm hoping that by the time everybody within that whole value chain works together, eventually we've seen the development in the past 10 years, and it's very encouraging and it's very fast. So I'm believing that we'll get there. In the next 2 years, it's going to be far, far bigger. In the next 5 years, it's even going to be far, far huger. And we as CKrowd, we are positioned there to be able to make sure that our culture, our education, information from Africa is well represented and it is well distributed to everywhere in the world, and even the remotest villages will have capacity to be able to enjoy and consume content. That is Africa.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think that does it. We were discussing with USA-based Nigerian entrepreneur who has a great knowledge of the Zimbabwean creative space and also the African terrain. He even lived in Zimbabwe for 2 years, but he's in Nigeria and he's based in the United States of America. His name is Kayode Adebayo, the Chief Executive Officer of CKrowd, who launched a streaming service aimed at supporting Africans and Afro diasporan content creators. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for shedding light and for giving us the eye-opener. May God richly bless you as you take over this market.
Thank you so much. It's been wonderful talking to you. And I enjoyed this interview because the level of insights that you showed in the different aspects of our conversation, it's quite amazing. And I enjoyed my stay in Zimbabwe like 2 weeks ago. I think I came when the jacaranda trees were all bloomy and were all beautiful. So you guys have fantastic culture going on there. And we are putting everything that we have in CKrowd to making sure the Zimbabwean culture is properly represented, not only within Zimbabwe alone, but throughout Africa, so that people get to know more about the culture, people get to know more about the film, and more about discussions around lifestyle in Zimbabwe.
Derek Owusu Amoako, and a big thanks as well to my editor-in-chief, Tonio Rizito, the founder and the owner of Technomeg and TechMeg TV, the pioneer and Zimbabwe's biggest online television, Tonio Rizito. Thank you, Kayode, and thanks to Derek. Hopefully when we meet next time, we'll be sharing okra fish, a Nigerian delicacy that I so love.
Yeah. I like that. Thank you.
Sure. Much appreciated. Yes. So let's meet again. Hopefully on the next sessions we're going to be having. We'll continue being in touch through Derek and yourself.
Yes, thank you. It was nice talking to you.
Have a pleasant day, and hopefully you'll be also be viewing us on TechMeg TV and on Technomeg. Just log on to www.technomeg.co.zw or www.techmeg.tv. And breaking it fresh always. We're grateful for having you and your company. Much appreciated. We'll meet on the other side.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ross. And give my regards to the chief editor also.
Yes. Mr. Tonio Rizito, most definitely. Thank you. We'll be meeting again. All right.
Thank you very much. Bye.